I'm skulking amongst the bike sheds, bike racks here at Guildford Station. I've got a cold, by the way, so the throat's a bit, yeah, the voice sounds different. Behind me is platform 1 at Guildford Station. Many years ago, I used to commute on a regular basis from Epsom to Guildford, and every day I would come in on that platform, and every evening I would then leave on that platform. Guildford, South West Railways, British Rail as it was back then, Network South East. It's part of, you know, the commutersville, you know, trains in and out of Waterloo, the same trains, the same patterns every day. Nothing ever exciting really happens at Guildford Station. Or does it? Because I think what fascinates me about the railways are those moments when you get, like, you know, lease use stations and request stops or unusual services. And today at Guildford, we're catching an unusual service. Every day you'd see the same train, type of train, normally a class 455, which is why what's exciting is when you saw a train which wasn't that, which was different. And one day, back in the 1990s, I saw a locomotive pulling an intercity train, and that tradition is held today, and I could smell it, I could smell the chemicals before I saw it, I could smell the Voyager of this cross-country train that's on platform 6 at Guildford. And also, my friend Jono's here.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi everybody.
Jono, come in.
Come in, alright, okay.
You live in Guildford?
I do live in Guildford, yes.
How long have you lived in Guildford? Like 20 years?
26 years, I think.
In your 26 years of living in Guildford, have you ever caught the cross-country train to or from Guildford?
Yes. I had a work trip to Birmingham, and this was the perfect trip. Although that was a weekday cross-country train.
When it leaves at 6 a.m.
It leaves at 6 a.m.
When we get on board, we're going to discuss the whole timetable. But once a day from Guildford, I mean, one arrives and one leaves. A hangover from an intercity service that was started in the 1979, 1980. Cross-country run, one train a day into Guildford and one train a day out of Guildford. So we thought we'd get it, one stop to Reading.
Bike storage. Bike storage is good.
Where's your bike, Jono?
At home.
Okay. Now, amusingly, don't know where Jono's gone. We just got chatting to the driver. I swear to you, this is a one-a-day service. Once a day, a cross-country leaves Guildford, goes to Reading, and then goes up through Birmingham or whatever to Newcastle. And then once a day, oh hello.
Hello.
Once a day, slide in. Once a day, one comes down from Newcastle, gets to Reading, and goes, does like a little spur, like a little dog leg, down to Guildford. Except, of all the days to choose, there's works happening at Basingstoke. So all the regular Bournemouth cross-country services are being diverted via Guildford anyway. I think they're normally hourly, and they've made them 2 hourly. So up on the board, actually, there's a 12:20 to Manchester Piccadilly. That wouldn't normally happen. There is just one a day normally, yes. And you've got the 6 o'clock, okay. Yeah. Let's leave, and then we'll discuss the timing pattern. You alright?
Yeah.
Nice to see you.
Weather's terrible.
Weather is terrible. Straight through, first stop, Reading. The first thing I'm going to do on our journey is pimp Jono out. How's your geography skills?
Okay.
How's your drawing skills?
Not so okay.
So I have a list here of cross-country, generally speaking, run 4 core services using HSTs and Voyagers. They are Edinburgh, like Scotland, Edinburgh, mainly Edinburgh, sometimes Glasgow, down to Plymouth. Plus the daily, the longest train from Aberdeen, and a couple go to Penzance. So can you do sort of like Edinburgh to Plymouth as a line? Hang on. And then you need to do the Newcastle to Reading, which is what this is. It extends to Guildford. And then there's Manchester to Bristol, and then there's Manchester to Bournemouth. Those are and then you have the little cross-country trains, which are Birmingham across to Stansted, and then Cardiff to Nottingham. But do you think you could draw those 4 core routes?
I can try.
All right, Jono, show us your map. That's
Sorry.
great. That's great.
Sorry.
Right, you'll get an email from Cross Country next week asking to employ you as their new graphic designer. So do you want to know the story of why this train exists?
Go on then.
In 1979, there's a website that documents it. Sir, I don't know who you are, but there's a man called Andy Gibbs. Hello, Andy. You run a brilliant website called 1s76.com. That's on the screen now. And it tells the story of the rise and fall of intercity services. Before cross country was a thing, this is still like British Rail days. And in 1979, they started an intercity service that went like down to Brighton. It was mainly Brighton, through London, through East Croydon, through Kane Olympia, and then up through Birmingham, up to Manchester, up to Scotland. Some services went from Kent, like Folkestone and Dover as well. But then on a Sunday, and I know this because I saw it once in about 1991, I was at Guildford on a Sunday. I remember seeing a loco pulling intercity carriages, and I'm thinking, what? No, this is Guildford. You only ever get boring commuter trains that go into Waterloo. And suddenly, like, there was this intercity train sat right there. And I looked it up in an old timetable, and sure enough, what they would do is that the regular daily service. Actually, there were multiple daily services, like 2 or 3 at one point, like 6 a day. But on a Sunday, they'd route them. They'd turn off at Red Hill, and it would take it via Guildford. And you could get an intercity train at Guildford up to Birmingham and Manchester and beyond. And then the trains, they sort of came and went over the years. Privatisation came along, Cross Country came in, originally with Virgin. They tried to up the service, and then Arriva, when they got the franchise, wound down the service, and by 2008 it had all finished. It's kind of a legacy, it's kind of a hangover from these intercity services for like 30 years. That Cross Country go, oh, you know what? Yeah, we'll run one of our trains just to Guildford. So you need to look at the website 1s76.com, and it's got old timetables and everything. Where are we going? We're going through something. Like, how useful do you think this service to Guildford people actually is?
During the week, if you've got work, I think it is very useful. Particularly, to go anywhere up the west coast, it saves you having to go through the bum fight of commuter time in central London. So you can just bypass all of that. It's much more relaxing. You arrive in a much better mood than if you'd had to fight your way along the underground.
Can we talk tickets?
We can.
Do you have your ticket on you?
I do.
I bought a paper ticket. You bought...
I've got an electronic ticket.
Amazing value, by the way. Thanks, Cross Country. I'm assuming the GWR fare might cost more. It cost me £2.20.
This is £2.20. It's going to cost me £10 to get back to Guildford from Reading.
Hang on, what? So how much was it? So you bought 2 singles or a return? Because I bought a single because I'm going back into Paddington from Reading and I buy a separate ticket.
A single back from Reading
to
Guildford.
Why is it £2.20 going out, but then it's £10 coming back?
Because this is an advance fare on a cross-country train, whereas the return train will be just a scheduled GWR service.
Okay.
Standard GWR prices.
So advance fares on cross-country, quite good value.
Yes.
Sometimes they have like maps up, don't they, showing services. I want to know if Guildford is on their little... Here we go. Hello, we're Cross Country. Hello, Cross Country. Oh, it's got Guildford on there. It shows they've bothered to put it in. Well done. We've written down the times, by the way. So if you want to catch this train, Monday to Friday, it's the 6:01 off of Guildford. On a Saturday, a few minutes later, 6:09. Sunday, what we've done is the 12:11. If you want to catch it the other way, you'll find yourself at Reading. It's the 18:22 on Monday to Saturday, getting into Guildford. Now on a Sunday, it's really late. 22:14 off of Reading gets to Guildford about 22:45. What's up?
There's a lot of wobble on that.
Do you want
Fix in post?
Are you having trouble holding the camera, John? Are you having trouble? Are you having trouble holding the camera steady? This really, when I wobble the camera, it really upsets people. I'm really sorry about unnecessary camera movements. Are we at Reading yet?
We've gone through the Reading dive under.
Why is that exciting?
Because trains from Guildford to Reading, GWR trains, don't normally go through that. They just stop at the platforms over there.
And am I right in thinking that a cross country from Bournemouth would normally have to reverse at Reading, but because we've come from Guildford, he doesn't have to reverse. He just goes, straight through. So that's also unusual. We're so nerdy. I love it.
Ladies and gentlemen, now arriving into Reading. Take care. Stepping from the train to the platform edge, please make sure to take all your luggage and personal items.
So really quickly, John, we just want to compare. Could we do a side-by-side comparison of your map and
exactly the same.
I think it's exactly the same. Yeah. You could just stick that there.
Yep.
And just be done. Have you not seen one before?
I haven't seen one of those
is
before.
is that your first time you've seen it?
Yeah.
Is it an 802 or an 800? What is it?
You tell me.
Well, it's either an 800 or an 800. It's an 800.
Yeah.
So normally the cross-country services would come in over on platform over there
Yeah.
and then reverse out whatever platform that is. But instead we come in on 13. And amusingly, because we've chosen engineering weekend to do this, the one up, all the trains from Bournemouth today are coming up, and presumably all coming in 13, which is why that board up there is actually confirming that. But apart from that, that's it. We're at Reading. I'm wearing a T-shirt, by the way, that says Monument Bonk. If you didn't watch the hilarious video, did you watch it?
I did watch it.
With me and Vicky, I made a little double entendre. I said Monument Bonk instead of Monument Bank. People were like, put it on a T-shirt. So we did. There's a link in the description. You're going to buy one?
Yeah.
Thanks, Johnny. Say bye.
Bye.
Bye.